That's when we permit ourselves to make our presence known. You asked if there was anyone out there. It's Union policy to answer.
We're out here to explore, to make contact with other life forms, to establish peaceful relations, but not to interfere. And absolutely not to destroy.
A topic that has been discussed extensively, but is seeing a resurgence in recent times, is that of General Order No. 1, also known as the Non-Interference Directive and Prime Directive. Throughout the centuries, this order has been twisted and mangled, used and ignored. I've done extensive videos on the various interpretations, from treating it as a religious text to the more pragmatic ways of looking at it. The discussion is coming up today because everyone's favorite daddy captain has been at it again.
If we leave now, every death that follows is on our hands.
We cannot further influence the destiny of this world.
Mentor or not Spock, we already have. Our only option now is to influence it well.
I, of course, speak of one Captain Pike. We see Pike's interpretations of the Prime Directive in at least 2 instances in the newest series, Strange New Worlds. One in which he helps a society that gains warp technology indirectly from Starfleet by showing them what they can and will be if they commit to war with said technology, and another where he refuses to let a civilization die for absolutely no reason. To be clear here, Captain Pike is right. These actions makes him infinitely better than Captain Picard in almost every way. Janeway too, while we're at it. But, ironically, I'm not here to praise too much or talk about the Prime Directive, what it should be, or the fact that him looking at it pragmatically is the right way. I've done that already. Now, I'll admit it's been years, and maybe I should update it, but I'll just have to see what people think in the comments. Honestly, I'm here to talk about, well, how stupid the Prime Directive is overall. If we're going to have it, let's do it pragmatically, but as a premise, I honestly think it is a horrible way to deal with civilizations in the Star Trek universe. If you ask me how I would handle First Contact, I tend to lean towards the Orville way of looking at this. That is to say, when a civilization starts searching for people out there, you can almost instantly make yourself known. Or when there has been sufficient contamination that you have to actually do something about it. That's not to say you give all of your technology, nor that you 100% trust the civilization that you're reaching out to. Hell, the Orville episode, All the World is a Birthday Cake, shows us why there has to be some precaution. But reaching out isn't a bad thing. And no, I'm not advocating for meeting a civilization while they're still in the caveman era, or before they have certain capabilities. I'd probably need to sit down and define it more. I'll do a live stream at some point and we can discuss it, but I'm thinking around the time that they are able to communicate using radio signals, at least at a minimum. We may need more requirements than that, but the ability to reach out beyond the stars is probably a good idea. Before you begin commenting, I can already hear people giving the general spill that if you do it too early, it can hurt both sides. It can devastate a world that isn't ready, and it can hurt the Federation as well in loss of resources and manpower, especially if it goes catastrophically wrong. However, there is a counter in the Orville to that as well. General Order No. 1 is great in principle, with a universe that plays by their rules, but they aren't in a situation where there is a universe that plays by their rules. If the Federation doesn't interfere, then the Romulans will, the Cardassians will, the Klingons will, or hell, even the Ferengi. We see this occur in the original series, The Next Generation, and even Voyager. Not to mention that you could argue that it also occurs in Deep Space Nine and Enterprise. In the end, if Starfleet doesn't find some way of interacting to help guide a civilization in a positive fashion, then other nations will, and it won't be so positive. Yes, there will be some faults and some catastrophes, but I would argue that there would be more understanding and more raising people out of the Dark Ages than there would be of pain and sorrow. You would also prevent them from becoming subjugated by these other empires. I'll be honest though, while I do lean this way, I'm not 100% convinced. So what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Lore Reloaded.